podcast. I am your host, Masuda Muhammad, and today we have our lovely guest, Miss Faith Seaton. She is the founder of SFS Solutions, and today we're going to delve into the topic of the effects of childhood trauma on adults. Because adults oftentimes experience childhood trauma, and managing trauma as an adult could be very difficult. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today with Miss Seaton, and I want to welcome her to Therapy Talks as we
Thank you.
delve into therapy.
Hi, I am
Hey,
Faith, as
welcome.
introduced by Masuda,
Yeah,
and that's a great topic. I'm happy that we can share on it
me too.
and bring awareness because childhood trauma in adults is very prevalent. And even though the topic is taboo, a lot of people basically, I would say, unsure how to approach it or don't know how to exactly express themselves or seek help in dealing with it.
Yeah. And it's something that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
And we need to normalize the conversation. A lot of us grew up in households where trauma or even abuse is normalized. And now we need to have conversations where we can identify areas that it really impacts us, even as we try to manage the many responsibilities as adults. So, can you give us a little idea of how childhood trauma affects adults?
Okay, so in adults, you would find that you meet different people in different walks of life. And then some person's behavioral patterns would make you stop and wonder, why is this person really acting that way? But if you just take that one moment, maybe to ask a question or to observe, you'll then realize that there was something more than, and maybe the person didn't know how to deal with it. So, for instance, an adult acting in an immature way, acting in a way, being disrespectful, being loud, usually is them mirroring themselves onto someone else, right? But what if that was the norm? So being disrespectful, being cursed growing up by their parents, right? You think that's the norm, you think that's the natural way to speak to others, right?
Yeah.
Even more, let's just say, for instance, you find an adult, a young adult, I would say, because I'll use this scenario. A young adult in a workplace, coming to workplace repeatedly, and you are in a managerial position, would say, hey, I would have realized that you're falling short in this area, and we need you to work on it, just by verbally, because you want to give them the opportunity to rectify. And then, there and then, that employee burst out on you. That is a sign where there's something built up inside, something more than, and in that moment, they were just outpouring, just outlash. But still, what is the root foundation? What caused this?
Yeah. And like that, you thought about, what could possibly cause that? Because, sometimes we take these things personally and we see somebody aggressive. And before we think about, what could possibly cause this person to be so aggressive, we feel attacked. So the first thing you do when you feel attacked is to retaliate and protect yourself. But as you say, it could be as a result of childhood trauma. And we see that a lot on the road with our road rage, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what Trinidad is.
And it all comes back to not being able to express yourself properly. You don't know how to manage your emotions. And I would say for me, because as a young girl, due to the traumas that I experienced growing up, was tough. Like I didn't want to hear no, and dealing with my emotions was tough. So everything I would start to cry and get emotional for until I understood what was going on with me and I sought help. So I went and I did therapy to deal with it because I mean you can be crashing out at everything.
Yeah.
You can be melting at every situation.
Yeah.
So when you're going and accept responsibility, when you're going and see well, hey, maybe this was a cause and effect of me, right? But not not being able to identify in the present moment that I was affected or what was affecting me caused me to have meltdown.
Yeah, that's so true. But can you give us like a little example of something or a meltdown that you had that made you really realize that listen, I need therapy or I need some kind of support because it escalating or it gets into a point where I recognizing that this is kind of self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will think as an adult woman. I was 25 years old when my mother told me no, and I was livid. I was super angry at her. Why would you say no? You just give me everything that I want. Even my was the weekend. And the fact that she said no, that was a big problem. Everything I could have destroyed inside, and then she was like, the world doesn't revolve around you. But then I had to look at the little girl in me who was seeking validation, who was seeking approval, who felt that everything needed to go her way because, and I had the mindset because I went through so much trauma and abuse, I felt my mother had to pay for everything that she left me to endure.
Yeah.
So I felt like because of my mom left to make a better life for us, but I didn't understand that as the kid. So in me being an adult, the little girl in me still wanted a mom, still wanted a mom to show up for her. And I felt as though that because she abandoned me, she had to pay for everything that I would have endured in her absence. So the fact that she said no at that time for something that I really wanted, I couldn't function. And she said the world doesn't revolve around you. And I was, what does she mean by that?
Yeah.
Um, and I had to do some introspection. And something I always do with myself is SWOT analysis. I always apply a SWOT analysis to my life, and I actually label out the areas that I was weak in, and I started to work on it. And due to me reliving the trauma in that moment, I realized that hey, you need to get therapy because this is gonna destroy your life. And it was there. I think that was my pivot point. It was there. My life changed.
Yeah.
I was able to pick up faith and not baby faith. So I was now able to move forward with adult faith who already had kids who didn't really have a true sense of responsibility because everything was given to her. So at that point, I would say that was my turning period in the whole traumatic experience and me understanding the effects on childhood trauma in adults because you constantly seek validation, you constantly seek attention, you constantly try to show up, to be seen, to get approval.
Wow, that's so deep. Especially the part where you're consistently scanning for validation.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the times people don't recognize or even make the link that a person who might be attention seeking or not taking no for an answer could be it could have experienced some type of trauma that would have been that would have linked them to not taking accountability even, or even recognizing when they hurt other people with their own behaviors. So it was good that you even had the insight to look in yourself, within yourself, and see that maybe something is happening with me and I need to seek some kind of intervention or support.
Correct.
But did anybody point it out to you or you recognize it on your own and see,
Well, it came after she said, the world doesn't revolve around you. And I wanted to know what she meant by that. Right? And, well, because I also believe the positions I held would have helped me. So from the tender age of 18, I was already holding managerial position, right?
Yeah.
And being in that space, learning how to manage people, I then had to say, well, if you're able to manage people, why can't you manage you?
Yeah. So that allowed you to kind of self reflect and say, I need to be a better manager.
Correct.
So I need to be a better person. Because management is really about you. It's really about you. Your personality will bring out the best or the worst in your team.
Correct. And that's the thing. So in my experience, and if I talk about me, in every position I held, I'll always get great feedback because I'm an excellent manager. I get it done. and all my people are happy because I believe you treat everybody as a friend, right? So that's one of my policy. No matter what position you hold, you have my full respect, right? At no point in time I would look down on you, but we all work together as a team to finish on time. Nobody's left behind. So no person gonna just sit down and wait for the rest. No, no, no. We all work as a team, and I motivate. I keep you on the go. I keep you engaged. I make it exciting. So if I'm able to get people to do that, then why was I falling apart?
Yeah. And so so everybody saw you like this strong person.
Correct.
Who had everything under control.
Yeah.
But internally, you did you feel strong internally?
Well, I didn't even know until I felt so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, I felt like the world was coming to an end. That's just to explain in that moment what I felt. Because my mother, she telling me no. Everything she just give me no. So that really affected how, or really assisted, because it did not really affect me. It assisted me in pivoting, in understanding that, hey, okay, so yes, I understand that you were left abandoned. You were traumatized, you were abused, but what are we doing from here? Are we going to stay in the abuse pattern, or are we going to find something to help us move past, heal from what was going on? I mean, healing is not right away. So don't ever think that it happened 10 years ago. You do therapy for 1 year and you heal. Never. Because in today, I can safely say that it's still a work in progress. Am I out of therapy? No, I'm still in therapy. But I was able to learn to handle stuff much better. Because as life grows, so too struggles of life grows. I mean, as your career escalates, so too your workload, right? I mean, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. The goal is not for us to be in the business every day. The goal is for us to lay a foundation that the persons under us can function and run the business in our absence. And we just oversee, right? But in the meantime, was you like for me, I have my 9 to 5, I have my kids, and I have my company to run, right? And I do have support in life. I have my employees, but I still am one of the main persons to get stuff done. So now you have to learn balance. So as life expands, if you don't deal with the childhood trauma, it's gonna be quite done. In the rat race.
Exposes you to yourself when you have to now manage a business, manage a family, you have your 9 to 5. But if you are not focused, you don't know what you want. You have a business, but you have no policies, you have no structures. And one thing we learn is structure. Having structure really helps you to plan properly. And having had childhood trauma, it could really, some parts of childhood trauma, depending on the severity, some persons develop complex post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression. All these things can be roadblocks to managing yourself and your business. And some people, they develop different types of mental health disorders, but sometimes it's not mental health disorders, but sometimes it's the mismanagement of managing your mental health symptoms. And that's where a lot of people fall short in terms of, oh, that happened to me, I don't need therapy, I don't need to seek help. But what happens when you can't manage and you're not recognizing that you're not managing because you're just blowing up at everybody, right? And that's what the same thing what you're saying, like you're just angry, somebody tell you no, you're vexed, somebody crossing traffic, you're quarreling. So I mean, we really need to address the underlying issues that leads us into behaving in such a manner.
And in Caribbean households, so this is one thing. If you are like most, because in my daily life, a lot of people come to me and they talk, so they will offload, and I give them the listening ear because I know what it is to not have a voice and what it is to not be heard.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, you have an issue and you go to a parent about the issue and they brush you off and they tell you, it's forbidden to speak about. You cannot speak about it because in most Caribbean households, they already lay a foundation for their family and what they want to be represented as. And anything they deem as a threat to their image must be silenced. So here's what you're dealing with, right? All right. You got abuse, you talk about it, silence. You're trying to find yourself, you try to talk about it, silence. So all of these things piling up, block on block on block on block, right? And okay, you reach adulthood, you start working, you're trying to figure out the 9 to 5, you're trying to manage and trying to see how best you fit in the environment because now you're going to either be reserved, introverted, or extroverted, or you're going to be a people pleaser, right? And all those things stem from the exact same root cause.
Yeah. And that is so true because as a Caribbean girly, growing up in the Caribbean in our households, parents will say things like children are seen and not heard. It's like a hierarchy type of parenting where the parents are on top and the children below, and you listen to your parents or else, and we all know what all or else means, right? And some parents never, when it comes to physical punishment, you and so some of them take out a lot of rage on their children. The stress of finances, the stress of the husband leaving, the stress of just taking charge of the household. Because a lot of Caribbean mothers have a lot of heavy lifting to do. Even though you're working, you still have to come home now and do heavy lifting. And sometimes they may use a pot spoon. They may use things that is non-traditional, right? And they beat their children with it.
Correct.
And the children can't cry. Because if they cry, you're going to get more licks.
Yeah.
So, right?
And that's it. So, on top of you abusing me, you're telling me, shut up, don't cry now. Go in my bedroom or sit in that corner and shut up, right? Guess what? All of that stifled. When am I getting the opportunity to release?
True.
Or when is that person getting the opportunity to release? So, a lot, a lot of stuff mostly stems from childhood, and then it reaches out to young, young adult, teenager, adulthood.
Yeah.
Still not treated with, and then you sometimes you get poor relationships because sometimes women don't know how to be a woman, or men don't even know what it is to be the head of a household, right? When do you really get the opportunity to express yourself? If everything you're hearing is be silent, shut up, don't speak, right? So it goes through the childhood, young adult, right? Adulthood. And they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to manage it. And unless someone like me, they may have some form of education, be in some position or in rooms that will teach them how to search within to find why, what is causing, where's the breakdown, where's the disconnect, how are you knowing, where can I get help, right? Because if you look at it in recent times, a lot of young people are in need of mental health care. And why?
Yeah.
Things change, yeah. The economy got harder, yeah. But really, why? And it's because they aren't able to manage their emotions. A lot of, and next thing, teenage pregnancy, right? And you ever got a story? Have you ever gotten a story from a young lady who would have gotten pregnant?
Yeah. That is pretty prevalent. Yeah. So we have a lot of young women, young girls who getting pregnant. And most of the times when you talk to them, the man is older.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we know that a lot of young girls who getting pregnant is because they're seeking out that father figure, that person who cares about them genuinely. And a lot of young boys, who join in gangs, and we have young girls who join in gangs as well. But they see the gang as a family, you know. It's more than just a group of persons who misbehaving, like you just put it that way, right? But it's more like a community. Like this is where my genuine support comes from, my love.
Yeah.
And this is because you go to your family members or your parents
And they get shut down.
and they get shut down.
But guess what? The guys out on the block, they waiting for the opportunity to get access. Right? So they make you feel at home. Really? That's where you're going to choose. Um, and they give you the listening ear that you're looking for because they know all the areas to act up on to get what they want, get their foot soldiers to do what they have to do.
Yeah. And these young boys who seek gang membership, a lot of them have similarities. No father in the household, the mother never there. Even if you have a parent, she present yet absent, right? We have parents who always on the cell phone. So even if they are there, you can't have a conversation with them. And the simple thing of just listening to your child and allowing your child to just vent. Some parents may see venting as disrespectful when you ask them a question or when you further probe them and say, well, if the parents say, don't do this, and you say, why? Oh, you're disrespecting me.
Yeah.
Right? So parents see simple questions as disrespectful. And I know teenagers who will personally say, mommy and daddy don't listen to me. They do not listen. And I had a session with some parents and we had a little listening activity. And the parents say, I just listen to my child. And the child was like, giving the little non-verbals, like, what are you talking about? Right? And then we did a little exercise and the parent was able to understand that you might listen in your way. But this does not mean the children feeling heard.
Yeah.
Yeah? So you might be there giving the children resources, giving them money, etc. But are you there? Do you understand the child? Yeah. So it happens, and some of our parents don't know us. They don't know you.
I always say that. I always say that for myself because I had friends that my parents never knew of. They were never introduced to. I've been in places that today they never heard of. They don't know because, and now as an adult, I look back and I say, as a child, you really take some kind of risk, girl, because you could have lost your life so many times. I mean, and now in this climate, maybe I would never make it, but I thank God for God in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's true. Sometimes your parents doesn't know what happens and where you are. I mean, they think you're somewhere, but you're not really there. That kind of thing.
But a lot of the parents don't even seek interest in knowing their children. They don't have time for that. I make you, I know you. But that accurate? Does that mean because you make me, quote unquote, right? Or you bear me, you know me as a person?
Yeah.
And this is where it starts, where our parents don't know who we are. So they judge us based on what? If you don't know me, how could you judge me or even have comments on my life if you don't know who I am?
Sure.
And this is because a lot of parents not taking the time to build relationships with the children.
Yeah.
How many parents will sit down with the children and say, let me have a conversation. Let me talk about what's going on.
And I appreciate the relationship I built. One of the things I do is gentle parenting. And some persons will say, sometimes you must have missed a lot. I don't believe in that because as a child, I hated someone to hit me. That I reached to the point that I know they're going to hit me, so I do my one. I'll deal with the consequences after, but it doesn't stop it. I'm going to do our.
Yeah. And imagine children is the most vulnerable in society, right? Children now start to live, don't understand life. And adults treat children like if they experience, as if they know. Children are judged harshly. Children are criticized harshly.
Yeah.
And we hit children. So the same things you do, and let's say you as an adult, adults does misbehave all the time. Would you like somebody to hit you, ball up at you, drag you from one end of the room to the next? But this is what we do, children. We hold on to them, we drag them, we tell them all these negative things, and then we expect them to just be great children. But you know what is the thing, Faith? A lot of these children is not well-behaved children. They're living in fear of their parents.
Correct.
And that's different. You freed me. That is why you're not misbehaving. Not that you actually
respect me enough to not misbehave. Yeah. And that's the position you want to be. And you want to build a relationship in a way that if anything goes wrong, your child know they are safe enough to pick up that phone and give you a call and let you know, mommy or daddy, this is what I'm faced with. This is what's going on. Can you come to me? You know, so that's the type of relationship you want to have. Not disrespectful, not traumatic, but one that you could communicate effectively. I believe in open communication. I believe in that every child have a voice. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So nothing is too much for you to come to me with. Give me the opportunity to be upset. I always, that's something I repeat a lot because I don't want you to think, okay, it's okay for me to misbehave. That's not it. What it is please let me know. Do not lie to me. Right? I don't want you to have to heal from a childhood. And that's something I really big on. I don't want you to have to heal from a childhood because the time that it will take you to heal, you could apply that time to something else to make you stronger, to make you better, to make you more empowered, to be a change maker. You know? Yeah. So that's my intention, that's my goal, especially with my kids. And any person that I'm in contact with, any young child, because there are quite a few kids that I'm in contact.
Nice. I love that you emphasize on not healing from our childhoods. Because the thing with our brains as young children, it is still developing.
Yeah.
And what happens is that some periods of our development, we highly impressionable, especially when we are below the age of 5. So could you imagine being physically attacked by a parent and you just literally thinking, I need to survive, I need to survive this household. And that is where your mind is. You just have this survival mind. And that goes on into adulthood, where you think you just need to survive when the day come because your household so harsh and you have to literally just survive in that household or be a robot. If you do anything out of timing, your parents ready to hit you or to smash you. Right? So in the Caribbean, we don't think about gentle parenting because we normalize trauma. We normalize licks. Everybody getting licked.
Yeah.
And that is a norm. But why can't we normalize just being gentle? But you know what comes to my mind as I talk about this? The fact that our parents did not experience gentle parenting. So they are just basically continuing the generation of aggression.
Right.
So my grandparents beat my mother. So my mother go and beat me.
And I gonna beat mine.
Yeah. We had to stop it somehow, right?
Correct. So
Yeah.
one of the things is I always tell my kids, it stops with me and it starts with me. Yeah. So I mean, people be like, you real believe in gentle parenting. I do. And I remember having a conversation with my son. And he was like, Mommy, I don't think I want to go to university. Yes. I told him, I said, that's not really much of an option, but if you tell me a career of choice or a pathway you wish to choose, then we'll discuss what are the steps necessary to get there. Right? But I believe in education also. So, whilst I'm not going to force anything down your throat, I want you to explain to me as to why this is the path you think, and it may not be the best path for me, because a lot of times, for instance, as a child, I wanted to be a teacher, and over time, that grows to me wanting to be a linguist, and over time, that grows to me wanting to be a lawyer, right? However, I started law school and still haven't finished yet. Yeah. Right? I've done so many other things and found myself in a content where that's where my passion is. I mean, I love it there. Right? So I don't want it to be like it fixated in such a way that you don't have a voice, you don't have a choice, or your opinion isn't mattered, but some things is not really bent based on how you feel.
Yeah.
You know, it must be justifiable. It must be that you're making the decision based on knowledge and not just, well, I see my friend do this, and I want to do that too.
Yeah.
You know, that's not gonna work it.
Yeah. And this generation, we not things that work in the past, not working for our current generation, as we know, right?
Yeah.
And it barely worked for us because being traumatized, here's what it did to us. We lack confidence. We don't want to speak up to the manager because we're frightened. We're people pleasing. And I know you said that earlier on, how serious it is, you're people pleasing. You don't know yourself because if you, who you are is who your parents said you to be.
Yeah.
Because if you express yourself in a genuine way, you're getting punished for that. So, did it really work in terms of being abused basically as a child?
No, it didn't. People pleasing is a real serious topic. And I think that's a topic for next time, like, where you could elaborate on.
Yeah.
But people pleasing causes you to have a low self esteem and think you always have to get approval from someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right? But guess what that does to you? You keep putting you off every time.
Yeah.
So your goals, your ambition, um, hmm, somebody try tell you something, but okay, Masuda, you want to be a pilot. I want to be a pilot, and somebody come and say, I don't think you'll be a good pilot. You change your mind because you're trying to please their opinion of you. Right? So now you're searching to find something where you already knew where or the direction you wanted to head into. But that's one of the things people pleasing could do to you. It can make you put your life on hold by trying to please, and then guess what? Because you don't understand it's trauma that caused it. You're going on and on and on, right?
Yeah.
Until it's too late.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's never too late, but sometimes it's just a bit late. A late start when you could have done something up in the early to get where you needed to be at and not try to play catch up in the end.
Yeah.
You know?
And the thing with people pleasing, it is a trauma response, as you say, but it is also a form of manipulation and not being true to yourself. And when you are people pleasing, it's as though you're shrinking yourself small just for somebody to like you. And guess what? Half the times people don't always like you. Like that is literally part of human interaction. Not everybody will accept you. And there's a beauty in not being accepted by everybody. You want to draw genuine people to you. You don't want to draw everybody to you, right? There's a saying, a friend to all is a friend to none. And that is what people pleasing is. You just want to be a friend to everybody. You want everybody to say, oh, she cool, but guess what? Even if you people please, people not gonna be pleased. Like that's like a big thing. But what they may do is use you because now you easier to manipulate. You want to be the nice person. Be the authentic person. True. Be the person true to yourself. And whoever like you, like you. Who don't like you, well, okay. Right? So experiencing childhood trauma as an adult, it's so important to seek support. Don't think that you have to go through this alone. And if you find yourself having outbursts or people pleasing or having low self-esteem, these are little red flags, right? Or if you cannot manage or keep a relationship. Now, I'm not saying that all relationships are there to be kept, but you will know yourself. And if you feel like you had multiple failed relationships, and the reason why is because you was a people pleaser and you had low self-esteem and it didn't feel good enough and you was super anxiously attached to your partners, these are little red flags that you want to flag. So, you want to seek support and intervention because this is how you'll be able to cope better. Yeah.
And at least try to listen to the inner voice. I mean, not everyone get the urge to, not everyone knows how to, but if you keep finding yourself overwhelmed, try to calm the mind. Try to breathe and listen to your inner self and see where do I need help. And mostly ask God because trust me, He will guide you.
Yeah. So on that note, this brings us to the end of Therapy Talks the podcast season 6. I mean, episode 6. And we want you to really ponder on what we discussed throughout the season. So I want to take this time to really thank Miss Faith Seaton for her words of wisdom, right? And so as we continue with Therapy Talks, we are bringing therapy to the Caribbean and, of course, the world. And so we normalizing these kind of conversations. So stay tuned for more wonderful episodes on Therapy Talks.
Yeah, it was my pleasure.